When a country starts manufacturing its own commercial aircraft, then you can say that they have come of age. The number of countries that are making commercial aviation planes, I can count them on my fingers. You have United States, which is Boeing, you have France, which is Airbus, and then you have Brazil, which makes this Bombardier and Embraer jets. And then there used to be one called Concorde, made by the British Aviation Corporation. It started in the 60s and it wound up in 2000s because of whatever. It was too expensive to make, plus it had some problems, it was supersonic and so on and so forth. So this new venture between Russia and India of SJ100 is indeed something that is eye-popping. And if India can really pull it off, that means India would not need any other country's aircraft for doing all the short hops. For example, I've told you about how convenient the scheme of UDAN, UDAAN or UDAN, is, where smaller airports are being built. I think I told you about how in Karnataka alone you have Bengaluru, Mysore, you have Hubballi, you have Hubballi is also Dharwad, they are twin cities. Then you have Kalburgi and you have Belgaum, which is also very close to this. So if you take a look at it, each one is only 100 to 150 kilometers apart, yet they have so many airports. Then one might ask, what is the need for so many airports? Well, because of the UDAN scheme, and I'm not even looking at some of the bigger airports such as Mangaluru, which is a big airport on the west coast. So what I'm trying to say is UDAN has really encouraged people to start using or hopping to smaller airports like this. In fact, when I travel, the planes were full, viewers. I mean, these are 200 or 150 people capacity. So SJ100, which appears to have a carrying capacity of around 100 passengers, would be ideal to implement the UDAN so that smaller regional connectivity can be easily achieved. And I think this is important because in a country like India, where often road access is not the best thing, then this can really make it possible for people, affordable for people to fly in airplanes and save time essentially. So the partnership is between Hindustan Aeronautic Limited and Russia's United Aircraft Corporation, and they've signed a memorandum of understanding, and the objective is to co-produce the SJ100 regional passenger jet in India. I'm not aware if Russia has its own, like for example, if Aeroflot uses its own passenger aircraft. I didn't have the time to do the research. It's possible that they do. It's good that they're also, that means you have to add one more country. So what is the scope of this joint venture? The scope includes final assembly, component manufacturing, and certification support. The long-term vision is to increase Indian-made content in phased stages. Clearly, the engine will not be made in India, at least at the beginning. Now, why is this deal important? Well, India needs regional jets to expand connectivity using UDAN or under the UDAN scheme. If I remember correctly, the airlines get a 50% off break if they land in the smaller airports like I was telling you about, and that's a good, powerful incentive. And Russia seeks new manufacturing and market partners amid sanctions, and India aims to reduce aircraft imports because these planes, especially from Boeing and Airbus, they cost an arm and a leg. And if you can do it yourself, that is a big deal. I'm telling you, this is a huge deal. Like I said, it is a 75 to 100 seat regional passenger aircraft designed for short to medium routes. And India's connectivity is like that. I mean, you'll have these big hubs pretty soon. And from those big hubs, you can go to the smaller places using these short-haul airplanes. And it offers key benefits, the SJ100. It is fuel efficient. It features modern avionics and can operate from short runways. Very important when you have places like, in the Northeast, if you want connectivity there, there's a lot of dense forestation, so it might be easier to build short runways rather than long ones. And it's ideal for tier 2, tier 3 Indian airports, like for example, in the Northeast and even in Bihar, the eastern part of India, where it's developing now, and the development is going on to a higher gear. So all these things will add to make those places more efficient. So with the SJ100 partnership, India is entering the global civil aviation area for the first time as a full-fledged aircraft manufacturer. And this will again, drive fear in the hearts of Boeing and Airbus, because I don't think those companies can make a profit if a big consumer like India says, I don't need aircraft anymore. And this makes a major shift in a market long dominated by Airbus and Boeing. I mean, the Brazilian aircraft manufacturer, very limited thing. I think they sell mostly for private people and not public. India's SJ100 project boosts aviation, self-reliance, jobs, and regional aircraft capability. This milestone signals that India is ready to move from being one of the world's largest aviation consumers to becoming a credible aviation producer and exporter. So we'll have to see how long it is before India becomes a full-fledged supplier of commercial airplanes, because for the global south this would be a big plus. They can't afford the higher prices of a Boeing or an Airbus, and they don't need the huge capacities, because Airbus typical haulage is around 300 people, and Boeing I think is also similar. So these smaller aircraft will serve a good niche. Let's wait and see how it goes, but it's a good development for India. And I know this could be something that Boeing and Airbus will also have to take notice. The thing about aircraft manufacturing is, if they find a market, they'll go ahead and make these smaller airplanes to compete with the SJ100. So it's good. May the best airline win. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.